Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm going to be making those videos that has to do with astrology and numerology, and I'm just going to tell you some of the stuff that I've learned the last 3 years. I have actually multiple sources. My sources are my two favorite channels on YouTube, which I've been watching for the last 5 or 6 years, Written in the Stars and Soul and Vibrations. I definitely recommend checking those two channels if you're not watching my videos. But anyway, let's get into it. So astrology and numerology are two things that really work together. Numerology is basically more of the way the universe communicates with us because we're living in a digital world, and numbers are very interesting because every number is ruled by a planet. And this rulership reflects on the number, and each of us have a life path where we are on this earth to fulfill a certain thing and a certain message that we need to, not message, but a certain duty that we have on this earth. But at the same time, this communication places as an energy. People has energy, everything is energy. So understanding what's going on exactly is very important. And I am here to just make it easier and tell you throughout the last 5 years, I've been diving really deep into everything. And especially when it comes to astrology and numerology and how they work together and the meaning of them. So I'm going to start with numbers. So each number is actually ruled by a planet. I'm not sure if you know that, but even your place, the one you're saying at, has some sort of energy that has to deal with what's going on, what's the main theme that's going on in there, and what it is. Going back to astrology, astrology is pretty much your subconscious and subconscious and unconscious mind, because it's 30-40% subconscious, 40-50% unconscious, and then we have 10-15% the conscious mind. So this is how astrology work, is just having those thoughts, and because we think a lot during the day, more than 1,000 thoughts I think, if I remember. That's what I've seen when I researched a while ago. Anyway, so we're gonna get into it, and I hope this video will be inspiring to you. I've been actually wanting to make those videos for a very long time, but finally Mars is in Leo, and things have been, me being able to take actions is part of this period, which is really awesome. And I can't wait to share with you other stuff that I've been working on, and finally have more free time to be able to do everything. So let's get into it. So let's start with number one. Number one is ruled by the sun. Basically, if you think about the sun, it's spirit. It's the main energy that we have here. And I'm just gonna talk briefly about it. There is very strong energy about number one, very about building, creating. And then number two is ruled by the moon, the moon is our soul, who we are from the inside, our emotions, and also everything that has to deal with the inner self. So that's the soul. Number three is ruled by Jupiter. Number three is ruled by Jupiter, which means expansion, and that's actually expansions, abundance, and it has to do a lot with, being with luck, being bigger and expanding, basically, and indulgence sometimes. I have big relation with number three because my life path is number three, and it's not easy. But coming forward, there's a lot of surprises I want to do, and which I'm not gonna talk about it, but it will come out sooner than later. And then we got number four. Number four is ruled by Uranus. So Uranus is basically known to be the higher octave of Mercury. And number four has to deal a lot with numbers, practicality, genius, basically, things that has to deal with digital world. Number five is ruled by Mercury, and that has a lot to do with changes, fast changes, being quick, and having some sort of mind energy that's very intellectual. Number six is ruled by Venus, and the way I always remember number six is Venus, sex, love, all the kind of things that has to deal with energy, that has to deal with passion and like love, art, music, everything that has to deal with, um, you know, love is number 6. Number 7 is Neptune, and that's of course Pisces energy, has to deal with spirituality, has to deal, like in a lot of religious book, we hear that the universe was created in 7 days, or the world, or Earth. I'm not sure, but you can go back and check that information exactly. Where is that? But then 7 is ruled by Neptune, and with 7 has to do again spirituality and escape. I have actually a lot of placements that has to deal with number 7. I mean Neptune, but and then we have 8 has to deal with Saturn, and that has to deal with structure, has to deal with time, has to deal with having things step by step and being very, like everything that has to deal with structure, authority is number 8. Number 9 is ruled by Mars. So Mars has to deal with work, has to deal with passion, has to deal again with sex and drive and work, and everything that anything that has to deal with like our drive. And that's what I really find interesting about numerology and astrology, because this is the way they interact together. But however, the cool thing about it is, how we have sun and moon. There's always two sides of everything. And this rulership of numbers, so the side that is ruled by, this one side is ruled, that's the side that we see, which is basically the outside. And this is basically the outside energy. But however, there's a second energy that's like from the hidden one, which is the inner one. And that has also, each number has a different ruler. And definitely I'm going to get into that, more into that later. But it's very interesting how things work. But if you think about it, again, from going from 1 to 9, those energies have other energies that like also rule them. It's almost like also with astrology, we have the Placidus, and we have the Western astrology, and then we have the house system that was created by the Western astrologers, and the ones that was created by Eastern astrologers, which is the Placidus. If I was, it's a lot of information to cover, but I just wanted to tell you about those houses. So the housing system that comes with astrology is actually pretty cool. So it's from 1 to 12, and 1 again starts with having rulership with the sun, but again, the first house also has to deal with the body, and that's like the material world. And when we talk about the houses, number 1 has to deal with the body. Number 2 has to deal with owning and money. Number 3 has to deal with communication, and that's that's my life path. Number 3, it has to deal a lot with communication, and that's one of the things that I actually go back and forth, where I don't communicate much, but I communicate a lot, and this is how I do it sometimes. But I know myself really well, and a lot of time knowing yourself is the first step of becoming the best version of yourself. So going back, number 3 is ruled, number 2 is actually has to deal with owning, which is like Taurus. 3, Gemini, communication. Number 4, Cancer, home and roots. Number 5 has to deal with Leo, and that's the house of creativity, kids, and child energy. Number 6 has to deal with number 1 has to do with child energy, but like when I said 5 is actually has to deal with younger youth energy, because that's like the most expressive energy, the inner child. Number 6 has to deal with analyzation, and that's all house of Virgo. And number 6 also has to deal with routine. Number 7 has to deal, it deals with, number 7, it deals with, this is what I have to remember all of them, but it has to deal with Libra, and that's basically balance. And number 8 has to deal with transformation, Scorpio, death. Number 9 has to deals with spirituality, higher learning, Sagittarius. And then we go into number 10, which deals with Capricorn, ambition and drive, and especially in the material world, and has to deal with the world and public image. Number 11 has, actually, sorry, 10 has to deal with ambition. Number 11 has to deal with public image, Aquarius, thinking outside of the box, being different and independent. And the last number, which is number 12, and that sums it all, Pisces. And right now we are actually in Saturn and Pisces. So just to tell you a little bit about the current time, Saturn moved into Pisces in March. So there's a lot of things that's actually going to be big changes in the world, because number 12, which has to do with Pisces, having Saturn in Pisces, it means that there's going to be a lot of changes. And if you think about Pisces, it's a very dual sign. It has to deal with spirituality, it has to deal with escapism, it has to deal with creativity, it has to deal with music, it has that Neptune energy, there's a lot comes with number 12. And having Saturn in that, which Saturn is ruled by Capricorn, there's going to be a lot of structure when it comes to the things that I've just mentioned. And at the same time, there's going to be a lot of inventions, and there's going to be a lot of things that going to come up to the surface. And Saturn Pisces also, as Saturn deals with time, a little bit with weather, working with other planets, we're going to see a lot of like water, energy, and rain. So I'm really excited to tell you more about astrology and numerology, but I hope this video is not too much. But I wanted to give you an intro to understand what is astrology and numerology and how those planets work, how numerology works, and what's the connection between them. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy your Thursday. And I'll tell you one thing, Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, and it's all about expansion. It's also about being very generous and sharing information and giving some sort of like good karma to the outside. And this is pretty much, and I'm gonna talk about actually the energy of today. Today is 8, and the rule is ruled by Saturn. At the same time, it's being Thursday, it's ruled by Jupiter. So there is definitely a strong energy today. I hope you use it and enjoy it. And remember, there's always a lot of energies that you can tap in at any time. But it's remembering that and knowing yourself are the biggest two things that, in my opinion, that can help you, go forward. I hope, again, you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, let me know.